What do you think about the idea of a 7-team All-Canadian division? Because the more I think about it, the more I'm absolutely in love with the idea.
Yeah, I think provided I don't do anything stupid, it maybe provides me with a bit of job security.
Well, I mean, we all do stupid things.
I think Rogers Sportsnet might be interested in that, and they do have a say in how it gets settled.
Yeah.
I love the idea of the Canadian teams playing each other almost exclusively. I think it would be extremely entertaining, especially for the people of Canada who run this game and own it and are the reason it is what it is. But I wonder how the teams view it. Like, I wonder how a team like Montreal, who made all these improvements, because it's a strong division. If it's
it is
that you're only playing in, like, I don't know how you guys see. I kind of see Toronto at the top of an All-Canadian division, but like marginally. And even if it's debatable, or even if it's not debatable, whatever it is, like, what's the separation level between Vancouver, Winnipeg, Calgary, Edmonton, and Montreal?
Not huge.
It's not a ton.
No,
you can rank them however you want, but the separation is negligible.
Yeah. Well, especially with Vancouver, yes, they got Nate Schmidt for a bag of pucks, but they still have holes to fill up front, I think. Like, I'm not sure Vancouver got better.
They got worse. Like, there's not even a question.
They got worse.
The thing is, they do have Elias Pettersson, and they have Brock Besser, and they have Quinn Hughes.
Yeah.
And like the Oilers, the Oilers made some good moves at the bottom end of their lineup to get some kind of depth, whereas they had, I don't want to say none, but certainly not enough. But can you? It's one thing to slog through the regular season on the backs of a couple of real racehorses here, Draisaitl and McDavid, but when it comes to playoff time, you can't win with just two players who are great or even better than everybody. It's not enough. So I don't know. I think Montreal. First of all, to answer your question, Steve, I love the idea of it, but I think like some of the teams, like maybe a team like Montreal, who made all these additions and is under so much pressure to make the playoffs, might look at it and say, "Wow, like we've got to play against 5 other teams that are just as good as we are." Or if they're a little worse or a little better, it's still going to be a slot. Like, it's still going to be extremely difficult. So I don't know. It's going to be difficult either way, no matter who's playing who. And we don't have any choices in this thing. This is where we're at, right?
Part of me wonders if this All-Canadian division happens. Obviously, there's going to be some inter-division games. So at some point, they're going to have to cross the border and go into quarantine or whatever. But I'm curious about how they would do the points on this one, because I feel like if they have these divisions and they're just playing each other, what's to stop them from seeding the conferences without a division? Do you know what I'm saying? So if instead of having,
I have no idea what you're saying.
Sorry, so
seed
like
conference instead of division.
Is Jesse drinking?
It's
just water.
So if you have, you're the Leafs Canadians Atlantic Division, right? If you're in the top spot in the Atlantic Division, you automatically get in no matter how shitty your division is. And if the top 3 seeds in both divisions will get in, and then there's a couple of wild card. I wondered if it wouldn't be a good idea to, okay, sure, we're playing the majority of our games within our divisional bubble or whatever it works out to be. But wouldn't you just want then to seed the Eastern and Western conferences as how the teams do rather than how they do within their division? We throw the division concept out the window a little bit here and just put the best teams in. No, eh?
No.
Well, I think if they broke it into 4 regions, and those regions are playing exclusively within that region against those 6 or 7 teams that are in that division, then the best way to make a playoff picture is the 4 best teams in each division go to the playoffs, right? Like, right. I don't know. It's hard to wrap your head around any of this stuff, right? Like, it's such foreign concepts, and like everybody asks me everywhere I go, well, what's the NHL going to do, and when are they going to start, and how are they going to do it? And it's like, the NHL doesn't know. The NHL shouldn't know right now. What they should be doing is making 2 or 3 really sound plans and going with whichever one they're allowed to when the time comes. Because the fact is, the most important developments are going to happen, A, medically, and B, on a political side of things, it's not so much what they want. It's they have to go with the reality that best suits the one they're allowed to go ahead with, right? So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm as curious as anybody. I do believe hockey will start in January. I hope it's by the 1st, and I hope training camps are going by December. And
maybe they'll be shorter, Eric, because I know how much you love month-long training camps. Your favorite thing.
I'll take whatever I could get, to be honest.
Yeah, at this point,
With not having 8 preseason games, I think that is a total waste. But I don't know what the owners are okay with, right? I don't know. They have to get really creative about how they're going to generate revenue this year, because whether or not they start in January, they're not starting with full buildings, no matter what it's politically or medically. So it's, I thought I saw a press release. I didn't really read through it quickly, but I saw Verizon was teaming up with maybe the NFL to do some sort of interesting. I probably shouldn't have brought it up since I didn't read it. No, but
that could be the name of the show.
Yeah, welcome.
That's our brand.
There are some interactive plans to customize the viewing experience for the fan at home, and to kind of bring them into the arena. I don't really know how they're going to execute it, but they have to get creative. This is a time for the NHL to really look at itself and say, we haven't done a good enough marketing job over the last 2 decades, but now is the time where we have to invest in all that stuff more than ever before.
From a competitive standpoint, I was tweeting about the Canadian division and how I love the idea, and people are like, well, doesn't that limit how far certain amounts of Canadian teams can go? And I'm like, we're well past that. The Vancouver Canucks made it the farthest this past year, and it was the second round in a 7-game series where they were outplayed probably 5 of the 7 games. We're well past that. So from a competitive standpoint, I want to see, like, clear cut, this is the best Canadian team, bragging rights, and then you go on and try to win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, and you know what? You're dipping right into the marketing element that the NHL should be exploiting, but also, like, everything is too bad, so sad now, right? Like, too bad. Like, we're going to take what we can get, and we're going to do what we can do. I right now, without any knowledge and without speaking to anybody in the National Hockey League about this, I do believe that the best plan forward, at least to start, is the Canadian team staying in Canada and playing each other and not going to the United States and not having the U.S. travel to here. It doesn't make sense to me. So I don't know where it's going to go, but that seems like the most logical option as of this day.
God, and it would make things so much fun competitively. Like, if you hate, if there's a hate on between the Canucks and Leafs, like there was a couple of years ago, and it's like, well, we're not going to see them again for another 6 months, right? Now we'll see them every 6 or 7 games.
It's built in.
Oh, that would be fun. And like,
all Canadian markets hate each other. It's built in.
Well, and imagine what
McDavid and Draisaitl doing a Canadian tour would not be something that people would mind too much, I don't think. And if for whatever reason there are just a few fans allowed into the buildings, say the buildings are a quarter capacity or whatever it is, people might pay the premium prices for those tickets to watch those 2 guys, or to watch Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson roll through town, or there's a few guys on the Maple Leafs that didn't be superstar quality.
No, they suck. They suck.